Today, I'd like to start by sharing a verse from Bhagavad Gita, as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
So, chapter 18, verse 55. It's a verse that we shall all cherish in our heart. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyashchasmi tatvataha tattvamam tadvato gyadva vishate tadanantaram. Translation. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and his plenary portions cannot be understood by mental speculation, nor by the non-devotees. If anyone wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has to take to pure devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee. Otherwise, the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will always be hidden. As already stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.25, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya is not revealed to everyone. No one can understand God simply by erudite scholarship or mental speculation. Only one who is actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. University degrees are not helpful. Jai Prabhupada. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna science becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Jai Goloka Vrindavan Ki.
Jai.
Jai. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses his identity. Devotional service is there, and as long as devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there. The same individuality is there, but in pure Krishna consciousness. One should not mistakenly think that the word Vishate enters into me supports the monist theory that one becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No. Vishate means that one can enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in His association and render service unto Him. For instance, a green bird enters a green tree, not to become one with the tree, but to enjoy the fruits of the tree. Impersonalists generally give the example of a river flowing into the ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalist, but the personalist keeps his personal individuality like an aquatic in the ocean. We find so many living entities within the ocean if we go deep. Surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of the aquatics living in the ocean depths. Because of his pure devotional service, a devotee can understand the transcendental qualities and the opulences of the Supreme Lord in truth. As it is stated in the 11th chapter, only by devotional service can one understand. The same is confirmed here. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service and enter into His kingdom. After attainment of the Brahmabhuta stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically the Brahmabhuta stage develops, and material contamination, greediness, and lust for sense enjoyment disappears. As lust and desires disappear from the heart of the devotee, he becomes more attached to the service of the Lord, and by such attachments, he becomes free from material contamination. In that state of life, he can understand the Supreme Lord. Thus, this is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam also. After liberation, the process of bhakti, or transcendental service, continues. The Vedanta Sutra 4.1.12 confirms this. Aprayanat tatrapi hidrishtam. This means that after liberation, the process of devotional service continues. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity. Wow, this is beautiful. Let's read it again. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity, his own constitutional position. Beautiful. The constitutional position is already explained. Every living entity is a part and parcel, fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his constitutional position is to serve. After liberation, this service is never stopped. Actual liberation is getting free from misconceptions of life. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai. Om Jnana Jnanam Jada Sharakaya Chakshurun Miritam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dharati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Hivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatadine. Dear devotees, or should I say dear to become Brajbasis. Thank you for allowing me to be in your sweet association. So, yes, there's many things I wanted to share today, but as I was reading this beautiful verse, it reminded me of something that happened to me. It was in 2015. I was in Mayapur. Well, in that time, I spent, I think, 3 months in Mayapur and in Vrindavan. And it was a very intense trip. We did a lot of chanting and hearing. And we visited a lot of holy places in Navadvip and in Vrindavan. And after these 3 months, the conclusion of my stay was one thing. I realized that actually my problem is not that I don't have this or I don't have that or I'm lacking this or I'm not able to do this. No, the only problem of my life is that I don't have love for Krishna. And I realized this is the only problem of all living entities, is that we don't have love for Krishna. Actually, I never found that purport again, But in the Bhagavatam, I think it's in the fourth canto. Sometimes you read something and you never see it again. Did it ever happen to you? It's frustrating. Huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the purport, it was said that actually the only cause of suffering in this world is our separation from Krishna. And this is very beautiful. And it is so true. The suffering of the living entity, it's not because we have difficulty in our relationships or we're lacking money or we're not able to do this at work or whatever we do in devotional service. No, the only factual problem is that we don't have love for Krishna. We should not look for anywhere else. Our problem is that. For every living entity, it's just that the people are not aware of it. But to speak of devotees, we should be aware of this main problem in our heart. You remember, like in the Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains the different types of inattentiveness, whether it is at the level of the body, the mind, and the heart. And what is the inattentiveness in the level of the heart? Do you remember? Insensitivity. Yeah, we're insensitive to Krishna. Yeah, we're indifferent to Krishna, basically. Yeah. So this is inattentiveness at the level of the heart. That's why we cannot chant with tears. That's why we cannot cry out to the Lord sincerely, because we are indifferent to Krishna. That's true. We should accept that. Otherwise, just like Rupa Goswami says that when you chant the holy name of the Lord, if you don't have tears, that means that your heart is like a steel frame. Yeah, so we should look at the frame of our heart. Is it steel framed, or is it like like little lattices? Like example, when Radha and Krishna, they are together, when they're sleeping together in the kunj, there are some lattices, windows by which the gopis they can see. So is that what we have in our heart? So we can look at the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, or is it a steel frame that cuts us from everything? So that's true. We should meditate on that. So this is our main problem: is our indifference to Krishna. And if we are conscious of that problem, then we will want to do something. We'll want to endeavor. Because what does Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Jaivadharma? What is Jaivadharma? What does he say? How does he define Jaivadharma? Which means the essential function of the self. What is the essential function of the self?
To love Krishna.
To love Krishna. And what is the nature of that love?
Selfless.
Unconditional.
Yeah, service. Yes, service. So the nature of the soul is to love Krishna. That's why it's our main problem. Because we're doing something against our nature. Are we trying to love Krishna in this world? Yes, actually. We're trying to love Krishna, but we think it is something separate, because we're the soul, so we cannot do anything but to love Krishna. But we try to love Krishna with people of this world and with things of this world. And this is a problem. So that's why actually this verse is very important. Bhaktyamam abhichanati yavanyaschasmi tatvataha. Very important verse, and we should meditate deeply on that. Krishna can only be known by devotion, by love. And then, when we have that love and devotion to Krishna, then we are ready to enter into the kingdom of God. So this is really important. Our life is meant for that. We don't serve just mechanically because we're part of a mission, because we have to do this or that. That's not what Prabhupada said. We'll retell the story because it's relevant to this verse. But when the devotees, they asked Prabhupada, what pleases you the most, Prabhupada? And the book distributors, they thought that, Prabhupada would say that you distribute my books. But what did Prabhupada say? That you develop love for Krishna. Why did he say that?
That's the ultimate thing.
That's the ultimate thing. Yes. What else?
All services should help to develop love for Krishna only.
Everything should be done. That's beautiful. I like it. You deserve a cookie. So everything should be done with that motivation, is to develop love for Krishna. So that should be our main motivation. Actually, everything is about attitude. My Guru Maharaj speaks a lot about that, attitude. And that's true. Everything is an internal disposition. Our attitude makes us come back to this world, life after life, and that's true. Because what is the cause of liberation? There's a verse in the Vedas that the cause of liberation is the desire to obtain it. Lalyam. In all of the Vaishnava scriptures, the conclusion, this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the Madhura Kanamini. The conclusion of all scriptures, of all Vaishnava acharyas, is, what is the conclusion? Lalyam. Lalyam. We're speaking, it will be a nice name, huh? Lalyam. Then you can remind every day, oh yeah, my name is Lalyam, I better get going. So Lalyam, the intense desire to obtain it. And what does Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says? When you obtain it, you have obtained the most precious jewel. Yes, Braj Bhakti, the most precious jewel. So beg, borrow, or steal, forget that Lalyam. Yeah. That intense desire to obtain it. How do we obtain Lalyam?
By being with people who have it.
Yes, by being with people who have it. So in the first chapter of Madhura Kanamini Vishwanath, this is a beautiful book. We could do many classes on it. It's a very important book actually. It makes us understand where we are at and how we can move forward so that we can go to deeper levels of bhakti. It's a very important book. And in the first chapter, he speaks about the nature of bhakti. And he says that bhakti is self-sufficient, is independent, is auto-manifest, and it can only come from bhakti. Why? Why bhakti comes from bhakti?
Because it's supreme.
Because it's supreme. Because it can only come from bhakti, doesn't come from gyan. Just like we read in the purport from Srila Prabhupada. It cannot come from gyan, or it cannot come from mental speculation or austerities. There's a verse in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. It's not coming from austerities, from sacrifices, from giving charity, so many things, yoga performances. It's coming from devotion. So devotion comes from devotion. And wasn't just like someone, so basically he says because devotion comes from devotion, it can only be given from someone who has devotion in his heart. And he says it is the same with Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti can only be obtained from a devotee who is a Raganuga Bhakta. And if we have not received it in our previous life, then we can receive it in this life. It is possible from a Raganuga Bhakta. And if we already feel Lalyam in our heart, then that means from a previous life we've already met a Raganuga Bhakta who has infused the seed of Raganuga Bhakti in our heart. So this is really important. If we want to develop love, what is the secret?
Lalyam.
Sorry?
Lalyam.
Lalyam. And how do we get Lalyam?
Associating with those.
Associating with those who have Lalyam. Yes, this is the key. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha. Yes. One moment. Just like Prabhupada said, it's interesting. So it was in regard to, he was giving, maybe not giving a class on that verse specifically, but after the class, one of his disciples asked him a question. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, how long does it take to be freed from all sinful reactions? And Prabhupada said, 1 minute. 1 minute. Sarva dharman parityaja. Mame kam sharanam. Aham tvam sarva papevyo. Really intensive. Yeah. Moyashi masuchaha. And 1 minute it takes, Very beautiful class from Srila Prabhupada. Answer from Srila Prabhupada. 1 minute. It's the same with association. Just one moment of association with a pure devotee can change your life forever. So this is the power of association. Yeah, how important association is. So it can change your life forever. Why?
Because that person you're associating with is imbued with spiritual potency.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So the person you're associated with is imbued with spiritual potency. Anything else?
They will love.
Sorry?
They will give love.
They will give love.
Bhakti.
Beautiful. You like cookies, huh? So they will give love. So what, Prabhupada said that what does the devotee has in his heart? Krishna and?
Love for Krishna.
Love for Krishna. So he can give Krishna and he can give love for Krishna. Prabhupada said that once. Here is Krishna, take him. Sadhavoridayam taman. that Krishna says, I am in the heart of my devotee, and the devotee is in my heart. So the devotee never leaves me, and I never leave my devotee. So that's why association is really, really, really important. If we want to develop love, we have to associate with devotees who have love for Krishna. And then we will receive that love in our heart. And we will receive that lalyam. This is the process of transference. Just like we have been habituated ourselves with the modes of nature for millions of lifetimes, and this has molded this life, our previous life has molded this very life that we're living in. Everything we're going through is a mold of our previous activities. While similarly, everything we associate with, what to speak of associating with the pure devotee of the Lord, then it transforms completely our nature. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that. The association that we take of people can completely transform our nature. Yeah. So if we want to become Brajbasis, what should we do?
Hang out with Brajbasis.
I like that. Hang out with Brajbasis. Prabhupada is a special Brajbasi, so we should hang out with him in our heart, definitely. But also living, there are special devotees. There are mature devotees we can associate with. And through that association, then we become a Brajbasi. It's beautiful. Huh? Do you want to become a Brajbasi?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that your desire?
Yes.
Or do you want to become a pujari or a book distributor or a temple president or a preacher? Or is that what you want to become? Is that what's important? Is Krishna, when Krishna sees us, what does he see? Is that what he sees? A kirtaniya, a preacher, a book distributor, a pujari, a family man? What does Krishna see? He's, sorry?
Are you my devotee or Brajbashi?
Yes, you're my devotee. And what does it mean for Krishna when he says you're my devotee?
Friend, lover.
Yes, exactly. There's a verse, again, I could not find, I tried with ChatGPT this morning, no, I could not get it. You know, sometimes ChatGPT speculates. I don't like that. You know, it tells you, no problem, I found it for you. It's verse 10, 30, 20. I look, I say, hey, ChatGPT, that's not this at all. Please find me the verse. It gets me another verse, 10, 14, 8,
Right.
you know, from Brahma. I says, no, this is not what I'm looking for. And then he gives me another verse. You know, he's a little selfish. I think it's like he's influenced by his false ego, because then he says, don't worry, I found a verse. It's not the verse, but there is the word, like, there's a word of this verse in that verse. You can see even ChatGPT doesn't have all the answers.
What verse is it?
I don't remember the verse actually, but it's just, there's a beautiful verse. I think around the second canto, something like that, but there's a beautiful verse where it says that the Paramatma in the heart, he cries when he sees the condition of the living entity. He cries in the heart. Yeah. So why does Krishna cry? But it's the Paramatma. Why does he cry?
Separation.
Yes. He cries out of separation from us. Why?
And also he cries because of the things that we're going through.
Yes. Exactly. Anything else? Why does Krishna cry in our heart?
Because we want inferior things.
Yes. We want inferior things, exactly. There's something else.
Maybe he wants to associate with a living entity.
Yes. He wants to associate with us. Why does he want to associate with us?
He loves us.
Sorry?
Because he loves us. We're unique. Everyone's unique, so he loves
Yes.
us as a special.
Exactly.
He misses us.
He misses us. Why does he miss us?
Because we belong there.
We
Yes.
have a particular relationship with him that no one else can fulfill.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. We have a person. That's exactly what I needed to hear. He has a particular relationship with us that he doesn't have with anybody else, and that's true. It's true. You know. Yes. Every one of us is completely unique, and we become a desire and a need of Radha and Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada also. But that is something else. So we are the expression of a desire and a need of Radha and Krishna to serve, to feel, to serve and love them in a particular way, and exchange with them in a special way. And nobody can replace that. Nobody. Even though, and this is love. even though there are billions of gopis, trillions of gopas, quadrillions of cows, you know. I don't know what else is there. So many more parrots. Krishna, he cries in the heart because he sees us for who we are, and he's longing to have that loving relationship with us. And that's why, this is the only reason why Krishna, he accompanies us life after life for millions of lifetimes. Because he is in separation from us and what we're meant to be in relation to him in Goloka Vrindavan. And that is why he cried. This is love. So why does Krishna says that Bhaktyamam Vijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tadvata? Why does he say that to Arjuna?
That's the only way.
Because
That is-
he explained a bunch of other paths to him previously.
Yes. He explained different other paths, but actually that the only way is love. But in regard to what I just said before, why does he express that to Arjuna? Why is that relevant for us? That verse.
Because Arjuna is friend to Krishna. Krishna want him as friend.
Yes, because
Whereas he want everyone else.
yes, exactly. Because Arjuna is his friend. So Krishna expresses that because he loves us. That's why he loves us, and in return he wants us to love him also. Actually, this is not a joke. If we will know really, fully, how much Radha and Krishna love us, we will faint on the spot. We could never even imagine, believe how much Radha and Krishna love us, how much Srila Prabhupada loves us. Actually, if we really realize it, our heart will melt instantly. Yes. That's why we need association with advanced devotees of the Lord, because they are sensitive to Radha and Krishna. They can know how Radha and Krishna feel for us. And that is very, very touching to the heart of the conditioned soul. Because when you hear and when you feel and when you realize how much Radha and Krishna love you and how much desire they have for you to be with them, then something happens. You cannot stay indifferent to that. And then the indifference of the heart goes away forever and ever. So, actually, yes, we're indifferent because we don't realize how much Radha and Krishna love us. That's the problem. We're not aware of their presence. Why would Krishna do all of this? Why does he create the material world? Why does he accompany us life after? Have you ever asked yourself this question? How is it that Krishna, he accompanies us lifetime after lifetime after lifetime for millions of lifetimes in the body of an ant, of a worm in the stool, of a dog, of a man, of this and that? How come Krishna repeatedly accompanies us? This is love. It's nice and Prabhupada. I always remember this. I mean, it was regard to a different topic, but you can feel his love. He says, then a devotee is not ready even to kill an ant. This is love. Have you ever heard that? He speaks to, I think it's in Los Angeles, he speaks to a bunch of university teachers. This is love. I'll always remember this, because you can really feel the love of Srila Prabhupada. This is love. Because he sees, Prabhupada, transcendental vision, can see the reality of the living entities. So naturally he has love for them, just as Krishna do. So, yes, actually, this is really important. And we have to become... We cannot fully accept this problem that we don't have love for Krishna as long as we don't fully become sensitive to how much Srila Prabhupada or spiritual master Radha and Krishna have love for us. Yeah. Otherwise, we're too much selfish in this material world. Too much selfish. We're ready to spend lifetime after lifetime just doing a little business here, forgetting Krishna. That's true. It's like Krishna is there, life after life, and I don't care, whatever. As long as I can do whatever I want, no problem. Then I'm happy. And sometimes I hear devotees say that, and it really pains my heart. you know, I don't mind coming back in the material world in my next life. I still have more desires. This really pains my heart when I hear this. How come? Krishna is there for you in this life, and you want to come another round again? Did you not get it already? That this world is like a barbecue? It's like, that's true. Huh? There's you remember that story with when all the Pandavas, they go to that lake, and the lake is a
What's the
manifestation.
most amazing thing?
Yeah, what's the most amazing thing?
That everyone
Everybody around us is dying and we think we won't die.
Everyone is dying and we think we want. There's something else also regarding the material world, the nature of this material. It speaks about a pan. Do you remember? I don't remember the
We're
detail.
being cooked by time.
Sorry?
We're being put in the pot of material energy and being cooked by time.
We're being put in a pot of material energy and be cooked by time. Yeah, exactly. I didn't recall exactly the detail. So this is what is happening. And we have to ask ourselves some serious questions here. It's like the problem is the material energy. What are the two functions of the material energy?
Akshapatmika and Ratmika. It covers you up and throws you.
First.
First it throws you away.
Yes, it throws you like a piece of garbage on the street. Huh?
And then covers you up.
No problem. There's no problem with that, you know. You're just there, and then it covers you to make you feel good
Right.
in this miserable situation. That's true. This is what is happening. We think, and this is our problem, we think we're happy in this situation. And when we hear devotees say that too, I'm happy, no problem. I chant Hare Krishna. I can take prasadam. I have lovely associates. I'm happy, I'm okay. But I don't have love for Krishna, but no problem. That's all right. I can keep going like that, no problem. Even in there, there's a danger, actually. So we have to reflect deeply about this. It's really important. Otherwise, we miss the point in this life. Prabhupada said, what did Prabhupada want for us in this lifetime?
To go back to God.
To go back home, back to God. Do you think Prabhupada had any other desire but that?
No.
Do you think Prabhupada wanted us to come for another round in next life because we're not serious enough in this life? Is that what he wanted? No. So that's why we have to understand what it means to be a member of Prabhupada's movement, what it means to be a lover of Srila Prabhupada. And we have to understand what was Prabhupada's desire for us. Because if we don't understand that, if we are not sensitive to Prabhupada's heart, how can we receive it in our heart? How can we install it in the deepest recesses of our heart? If we are not sensitive to Srila Prabhupada's heart. He sacrificed so much, just like Krishna. So much to be with us lifetime after lifetime. But how are we reciprocating with Srila Prabhupada's love? This is a question we should ask ourselves. How are we reciprocating with his love? And it's not about doing this or that. This is not the point. It's about developing love for Krishna. This is what will please Srila Prabhupada the most. Developing love for Krishna. So whatever we do, we should do it, but to develop love for Krishna. No problem. We can do whatever. We have a certain nature, inspiration, abilities. We engage them in the service of the Lord. No? Even Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, but we do it to develop love for Krishna. This is what will please Srila Prabhupada the most. And this is really important. Just like Andhra Prabhu says in his book, it's quite epic. You know? You can do millions of books, you can do millions of hours of Harinam, but if you don't develop love for Krishna, if you don't nourish your internal relationship with Radha and Krishna, then what is the point? It's just external. You know, anybody can do this or that, but not everybody can develop love. That's the thing. So this is the most noble thing in the world. And this has to be the goal of our life. We have to put something in the heart, and this is the goal. This is the prayojana. This is the utmost important thing, ultimate perfection. And this has to be there, because if we don't have that goal in our heart, then our mind and, thinking, feeling, and willing will take us in so many different directions. And then we'll lose ourselves. And we'll go for another round in the material world. Just because we didn't understand Prabhupada's heart. We were not sensitive enough to his love to understand that he wanted us to make it in this lifetime. because he realized, like Spark, Prabhupada saw our potential, our transcendental potential. He saw us as to become Brajbasi. And in that, he was doing to do so many things to help us, because he saw us in our eternity with him and Radha and Krishna. So that's why we have to meditate deeply on this and understand that this is our only problem. And how will we be able then to deal with that problem if this is our main problem in life? How will we develop love for Krishna?
Associate with those who love Krishna.
Yes. Associate with those who love Krishna. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I've heard this, I kind of felt you were going to talk about greed in your class, and I've had this thought about, I guess I tend to think of lolium as like something very, because a lot of people that seem to have lolium, maybe they're doing some very austere thing.
Mm.
Their time management is just like incredible, or they're just something that's very difficult. So I just wonder, am I looking at it backwards? Like, is greed something like that, or is it, like you said, associated with just is it simpler than that? You just go associate with those who have greed?
Yes, that's a good question. Definitely it starts with association. He was asking the question, how do we develop greed? How does it come about? Yeah, the main thing is association. If we feel we don't have it in our heart, beg, borrow, or steal, but get it. And definitely it starts with association. Those who have lolium in the heart, then they will infuse that in our heart. And then we will have that inspiration also, enthusiasm to go towards Krishna and develop love for him. Definitely. So it starts with association. But it's not about, mainly the lolium is not about doing this or that, but it's just a desire, basically. It's a desire to obtain love for Radha and Krishna. And it's something simple, actually, but it becomes simple when you associate those who simply have it in their heart. That's true. Because for them, that's true. Like, for example, Prabhupada said, Maharaj was speaking about that the other day. So maybe it was a disciple, asked Srila Prabhupada, so what is Krishna doing now? And Prabhupada said, Krishna is sitting. As simple as that. For a pure devotee, he sees Krishna everywhere. He can know what Krishna does any time of the day because he has a relationship with him. It's super simple for him. Being in connection with him, feeling his presence, seeing his form, like hearing his voice is something completely natural. So when we associate with someone who has a completely natural relationship with Radha and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, then it becomes natural for us also. Simple for the simple, complicated for the complicated. It can be super simple, it's just association. And then that inner disposition will manifest itself in our heart. And the pure devotee, he installed that desire in our heart, that loliam, that prayojana, that sambandha gyan. And then after that, everything comes naturally. It's just a question of time. But it can be obtained. It's just by association. Because we should not just sadhu sangha. We should not minimize the value of associating with pure devotees of the Lord. It can change our life forever and ever. This verse says it. Just one moment association with a pure devotee. What happened with that Russian devotee Prabhupada met? Once.
Ananda Shanti.
Ananta Shanti. What happened to him?
Started the whole moment.
One moment. Can you believe it? Wow. So yes, it's very powerful. But actually, we have to be simple in that association. We have to give our heart, open our heart, reveal our heart, receive the heart of the pure devotee, allow him to work within us and to change our heart too. The pure devotee gives instructions to help us develop love for Krishna. He sees what we're lacking and what we need to have love for Krishna. We have to follow sincerely. Otherwise, if we try on our own, how much are we going to get? We don't have love for Krishna, remember. This is our problem. So we have to let those who have love for Krishna install that love. And for that, we need to be a humble receiver. It's really important. Because the devotee can give love for Krishna and Krishna in the heart. and instantaneously also. It's like, for example, you can chant one pure name and you have darshan of Krishna. As simple as that. The moment you chant one pure name of Krishna, you have darshan of Krishna. The moment the pure devotee enters into your heart changes forever. So it's as simple as that. But are we ready to welcome the pure devotee in our heart? Are we ready to welcome Srila Prabhupada in our heart? Then this is a question we should ask ourselves. If we don't have that inner disposition, then what can we do to open our heart so that we are more receptive to that mercy? Because mercy is there, definitely. And it is available. And it can completely transform our life. But it's just a question of attitude. Yeah, definitely. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking you have to be like. I mean, I guess could it manifest that way where you're more austere, or is it? Because sometimes I've been austere, but I don't feel. Krishna doesn't reciprocate because.
Yes,
But
it's not about austerity.
Sometimes,
It's not about austerity.
Yeah.
I've been austere too. And this is not what gives love for Krishna. You remember the brahmachari who drank milk?
Yeah.
Only milk? Krishna.
Trick her out of here.
So what does Krishna say? I am not in the austerities of the yogis. I am?
The hearts of the devotees.
Yes. Where my devotees glorify me. This is where Krishna is. So, no, it's much more simple than that. But definitely, when we're speaking about Braj Bhakti, about the love of the Brajbasis, then this is not something we can attain on our own. It's not possible. That's not what the conclusion of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion. We're introduced to Krishna. We're introduced to Vrindavan. We're introduced to our eternal family. And then, through that introduction, that bridge, then we can receive the love. This is how Krishna does. Krishna, he sends his devotee. We're speaking about that with a devotee yesterday. Krishna, he sends his devotee. And it's the devotee. Krishna says, what is the true worship of my person?
Worship of my devotees.
The worship of my devotees. So the one who says is my devotee is not my devotee. But the one who is the devotee of my devotee is my true devotee. So that's why actually, yes, association with the pure devotee who has Braj in his heart rather than Krishna, then definitely we will receive Krishna in this way. But not through austerity, sacrifice, years and years of book distribution or preaching or kirtan or whatever. No. Actually, it's association with the pure devotee. There's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, I don't remember exactly where, but it says that your spiritual life only begins when you associate with the pure devotee of the Lord. Before that, we're Jivabada, we're eternally conditioned souls, forever and ever, until we meet the pure devotee of the Lord. Then our devotional lives really start. That's why Prabhupada says when you touch his book, then you become a human being in the next life and your devotional service starts. Because you become in touch with the pure devotee through his book. And then it starts. So this is the potency of the pure devotee. Krishna, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in Madhura Kanambini, such an important book. He says, I give the power of attorney to my pure devotee. My complete mercy I give you, and you do whatever you want with it. So much so that the devotee can decide who will receive complete liberation, who will receive love of Krishna. Krishna says, I give you my mercy. That means I give you the love for me, and you do whatever you want with it. So this is the potency of the pure devotee. Krishna gives everything to him so that he can do everything for us. Give us everything we need, entirely. Everything is there. We don't miss anything. This is the simplicity of associating with the pure devotee and receiving him in our heart. Everything will come to that. Not by sacrifice, austerities. No, by how much we're ready to receive the pure devotee in the heart. And then he will work wonders in our heart. He will empower us to do so much more. So there's this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we need to be empowered to share the holy name of the Lord. Without being empowered. Is that it?
Did we not? Nahi tara pravartana.
Yes. Exactly. So does that answer your question? Yeah. No, just association. It's my personal experience, and it changes everything. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. I was hoping to ask if you could speak more about how do we associate with pure devotees, because
That's an important question.
because there are there are some in this very building,
Yes.
and there are some in the state of Michigan, and in
Yes.
this country, and in this world. There are plenty of pure devotees in our sangha, various Hare Krishna sanghas across the world, and surely I can imagine I've been around some in my life, and sometimes I may have taken advantage of their association, and sometimes I may have neglected the opportunity. So how do I best utilize it so that when I'm with them, they can, give me Krishna, or I can receive Krishna from them?
Krishna gives the answer in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. What are the three qualifications needed to fully associate with a pure devotee?
Inquire submissively, serve, and
Approach them.
approach them.
and-
Approach first, then
Yes.
inquire, then serve.
Yes, exactly. That's it. And then we were saying in the second canto, first chapter, you recited, can you recite that verse again? First canto, chapter 2, verse 18?
Nashta Prashpadeshu, that one?
Yes.
Nashta Prashpadeshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, Bhagavati Uttamashlake, Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki.
And translation is?
By rendering devotional service by rendering service unto great devotional Lord and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily, all that is troublesome in the heart is completely destroyed to nil. A loving transcendent service and a supreme percent required is established.
Irrevocable fact.
As an irrevocable fact. Such a beautiful verse. Huh? This chapter is so important.
Yeah.
126, Bhagavatam. This will be a nice class too. 126, the supreme
180.
occupation. Huh?
It's 120.
126, no, but 126 is nice too.
Yeah, 7.7.
Yeah, Parodharma. Yes. Does that answer your question? So basically that's it. That's it. Yes.
Can I ask a more nuanced question?
Yes, of course, of course.
How can you do that without coming across as like annoying or I don't know? Because sometimes I feel like the great devotees, they a lot of people ask them first. A lot of people approach them. A lot of people inquire from them, and they want to render service. And I don't want to just be like a leech, I don't. How do I want to come across like that? Especially if it's in in public. There's a lot of things like, you know what I mean?
By hook or by crook. Beg, borrow, or steal, but get it. By hook or by crook. Yeah, you have to. This is what we hear in Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is the name of that devotee who was hiding behind to get the mangoes from the...
Kalidas.
Kalidas. So what was he doing?
He was taking all the remnants.
Yes.
Sucked down the mango pits. And his wife.
Yes. So when they left, and he will hide behind, and he will suck the mango pits. So you have to use your intelligence, and you have to work your way so that you can serve. Service is important.
All the Vaishnavas in Bengal.
Wow. What an exploit. What an exploit, yeah.
Ultimate heist. Every one of them.
Yes. So we have to serve. Yes, we have to serve, but we have to find a way to serve. Now we have to approach. But first we inquire. First, we have to find a way so that we can inquire submissively. We have to come in the confidentiality, because there are 6 exchanges of love in the Nectar of Instruction. 2 of them are giving and receiving instructions, in confidentiality. So it starts there. Why? It's so important because in the confidentiality we can receive the heart of the Vaishnava, and then it transforms our heart forever. Isn't that true? Isn't it true? Yes. Yeah. Is that okay? But you have to find a way first. Yeah, definitely. First, you have to enter into the confidentiality, so that you can hear from him. Because a Vaishnava, when he speaks to a loud crowd, he can speak more generally speaking, but cannot fully reveal his heart, because the heart is intimate. The heart is like a garden; it's a secret. So that's why you cannot share your intimacy with everybody. But when you're in the intimacy, and there's you have to feel like you come submissively so that the devotee feels trusted to open his heart to you. So you have to come with a certain attitude. You approach, but submissively. And in that submission, then the Vaishnava, when he sees the humility, he opens his heart. When he sees the humility, the sincerity, the laulyam, then he opens his heart to you and he is ready to give you the jewels of his heart. Yes. But it starts with that, and then after that, gradually, you're so much touched by what the jewels that he gives you that you feel indebted towards him, and you want to do something for him in exchange because you feel indebted so much. You have received something that you could never have imagined that you could have ever received before. So then you become endeared and indebted towards him, and you feel, what can I do for you? What happened with Prabhupada at the beginning? Prabhupada was giving so much love. Was feeding the devotees, and one I came to, but can I do something for you? Yeah. That's how the movement started. Can I do something for you? You know? That's true. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
That's very clear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just had a comment. I was thinking about how you're talking about how foolish we are to think that we can't attain perfection in this lifetime.
Yes.
And I was reminded of a story.
You say we can't. Is that
we
yes?
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't
Yeah,
exactly.
how foolish we think we are.
Yes.
Because Prabhupada's mercy is so powerful.
Yes. Exactly.
And
Definitely.
I was reflecting on this story with Sripada Indrapuru where he overheard two devotees having a discussion. And one of the devotees was talking about maybe some anarthas in his heart or something. He's like, anyways, I'm going to have to come back next lifetime.
Ekalavya.
I wasn't going to say his name, but anyway. And Indrapuru took a chair and he threw it at him.
Plastic chair. He put it and
He took a chair and he threw it at him, and he was standing there.
Come closer so that they can hear. It's a nice story.
So Indrapuru took this chair after hearing him say, like, oh, well, I'll just come back next lifetime or whatever. And Indrapuru took a chair and he threw it at Maharaj.
Yes.
And he was crying. He was looking at him.
You mean Indra was crying?
Indrapuru was crying.
Wow, beautiful.
He said, how could you be so foolish? Prabhupada is giving you everything. How dare you think that Prabhupada can't give you the mercy to attain all perfection this one lifetime? Really, really, I was just reminded of that story. And then what you were speaking of, I was thinking of another situation regarding your question, the second question, where Narottam Das Thakur is going and cleaning the area where Lokanath Das Goswami is, you know,
defecating.
he's defecating, and Narottam Das Thakur is cleaning that. Like, he's being denied the chance to attain initiation or you know, diksha, but he's so relentless. Same thing with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada with Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. You know, he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna commit suicide then. You know, I'm gonna kill myself, and he's serious about it. So
Definitely.
yeah. Anyways,
That's a beautiful story. Thank you so much. It's very beautiful.
It's written all over our parampara.
Yes, exactly. Any questions online or comments? If we have time, we should. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said we should always end on a sweet note. I'd like to share a sweet pastime with you. Would you like to hear it?
yes.
Yes, because it's important. Because yes, actually, one secret also is Braj Lila, because it's just so sweet, and your heart becomes too sweet after that. It's just like overflowing with sweetness, because Braj Lila is so sweet and beautiful, and your heart cannot stand different to the sweetness and love of the Braj Basis and the exchanges of love with Radha and Krishna. It is not possible. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's why we should hear every day about the sweet loving pastimes of Braj. In this way our heart will melt, and then we will develop Laulyam. So this is also a special association, Braj Lila, because it's fully present, and the sweetness is there, the love is there, the exchanges are there, the rasa is there, and through that association we can receive in the heart also. So this is also a secret. Okay, so let's go. I'll find the... Yes. So this is a story I never heard before. I guess maybe you have never heard it too. Let's see. Okay, so there are many different. No, let's start with this one, I guess. Yes. Okay, so close your eyes for a sec. Those online also, just close your eyes for a sec. And remember, now we are ready to enter into a very special moment. A very privileged moment where together we will hear this beautiful Braj Lila. Let us open our heart, open our ears, so that that beautiful, sweet, loving pastime can enchant the garden of our heart and then stay forever there. So once during the Shravana season, which is usually in July, Radha and Krishna, they got into an argument. Krishna was being very mischievous at that time, and Radharani, she got upset, and she manifested her man, or pouting, or anger, loving anger. And she came up on, she climbed on Vilasgar hill to pout. And then we know that whenever Radharani, she gets angry as a result of Krishna's nonsense, then Krishna tries to make up to her. And he says sweet things to her. And he brings her all sorts of gifts also. But in this particular instance, Radharani, she was so angry that she wouldn't even entertain Krishna. She wouldn't even see him. She wouldn't even speak to him. Then she put her gopi girlfriends as guards around the hill so that Krishna could not even come up and apologize to her. Then the gopis, we know they can be very fiery. You see sometimes these village girls, they have a unique combination. It's like, by tradition, they're very shy and timid, but also you may have seen, you may have experienced that they are very fiery also. Have you seen that? No? Yeah. These Braja gopis? And sometimes they're really fiery and sometimes they get what they want also. So Krishna, what did he do? He tried to come up the hill, thinking that his father is the king of Braj, Nanda Maharaj. So he came up, but the gopis, they chased him back down. And Krishna was climbing the hill, and he believed that everything around him was the property of Nanda Maharaj. So he was kind of proud. My father is the king. Comes up. But the gopis chased him again. But the cowherd boys, what did they do? They didn't like that. So they didn't like the gopis to get the upper hand. Sometimes there's fights between the gopas and the gopis, like we have told last time we were here. The holy war. Holy. So they didn't like that the gopis, they get the upper hand. So they encouraged Krishna, go back up there. You have the right purpose. Go. You just go back up there. And Krishna marched up and the gopis, they chased him back down again. No way he could come up and see Radharani. They were really adamant. So the third time that Krishna was chased down, Lalita, she stood up at the top of the hill and she screamed out, Radharani doesn't want to see you. She doesn't want to speak to you forevermore. And then Krishna, he had to think, he was sad. He wanted to see and apologize to Radharani. His day was finished. And then he was saying, what am I going to do now? This cannot go on forever. So eventually, we know that Radharani, she always have to forgive him. But it didn't look at all that it was happening this time. So they had an Ishtagoshti. Krishna had an Ishtagoshti with the cowherd boys. And they were thinking like that, so we have to go get Krishna up on that hill. So he's got to apologize to Radharani, but all before lunch, because they did not want to miss their lunch. Their stomach was rumbling already. So nobody could come up with a good idea because they tried everything in creation previously. Because Krishna does that pastime eternally. So they have tried so many different excuses before. So then Krishna said, I have the right idea. I'm going to dress up like a girl and put all kinds of jewelry on. And I'm going to go up on that hill and I'm going to sing for Radharani. So certainly my singing will appease her man and her anger. But what was the reactions of the boys first? You're going to dress up like a girl? We don't like this. But Krishna was adamant. He was insistent. No. So the boys, what did they do? They got a petticoat, a choli, a sari, and some jewelry for Krishna. So you can imagine the current boys, they're trying to put the petticoat. I remember, okay, I'll give you a confidence. So in the Montreal temple, we have really tall deities of Radha and Krishna. And there was one friend, the Pujari, could not dress them for a couple of days because there was an emergency. So I was the only one that was available at that time, and I didn't do any dressing before, not even dressing Srila Prabhupada. So he asked me to dress Radha and Krishna, which I was really happy. But then when I got the petticoat, I was like thinking, I said, but I don't know how to put a petticoat. I never put a petticoat on myself. I was kind of confused. How am I going to put a, I was like that. And so when I read this, it reminded me of like that moment when I was confused. How am I going to put a petticoat? I don't even know what is a petticoat. So the cowherd boys, they're trying to put, but they couldn't figure out because they never put a petticoat before. So they tried to put the choli on the front or the back. They were completely confused. 6 meters of sari, it's more than a dhoti. So it took him hours and hours to make him look like an actual girl. So finally they finished, and they stood back and they just broke off in laughter, to see Krishna dressed like a girl like that. They all started to laugh like anything. They could not control themselves. They were rolling and So at the top of the hill, the gopis, they heard all this laughter, and they're thinking, but whoa, wait a sec. They're not supposed to be laughing. They're supposed to be lamenting. So Lalita, she sent some spies down to check and see what was going on. So by correcting few details on Krishna's look, the boys, they looked around, and Balami comes up and he asks, are you sure, Krishna, you want to go dressed like this, like a girl? And then Krishna, he took the mirror, he looked at himself and he said, of course, I really like what I see. I'm going now. So he began to walk up the hill, but in his gopi dress with a certain movement, a gait. And finally he reached the border where the gopis they were guarding, but nobody stopped him. So he reached the security line, passed the border. And as we have seen many times, it's very difficult to enter the inner circle of the closest friends of Srimati Radharani, especially when she is pouting. The adamant, they're like her army. That's what is described. They're the army of Srimati Radharani. So we know, for example, even Lord Shiva, after trying to enter the rasa dance, he couldn't actually make it. But he was given the service of guarding the gopis, guarding the rasa lila, and also guarding Vrindavan. He became Gopeshwar Mahadev. And he guarded Vrindavan from imposters and unqualified people to come in the Leelas. So we understand also, it's not easy to enter Vrindavan, to enter into the mood of Vrindavan, but we can try to drag our bodies in Vrindavan, but the question is our heart really there? And that's what we were speaking before. Is our heart really present? So that's why hearing Braj-lila is so important, because it can conquer the heart. And then gradually we become completely dependent on Braj and having love for Radha and Krishna. And then our heart follows, just like the gopis. When they heard the flute of Krishna when he was on Vamsivata, when they heard the song of his flute, their heart left before them and they had to run after their heart. So this is what should happen to us. Our heart leaves before us and then we run after our heart towards Braj. Okay, so we know the gopi girlfriends of Radharani, they're very protective of her. Why? Why are they protective of Radharani? Because Krishna is always going after her. Sorry, what did you say?
Because they love Radharani.
Yes, exactly. Definitely. They protect her because they love Radharani. And they also protect her because Krishna is always going after her. So that's why they have this protective mood. But what's interesting is that the gopis, they're always willing to accept new gopis into their group. Because there's just, if you think about the gopis of Braj, it's not just about 8 or 10 or 15 gopis. There are millions of gopis, billions of gopis. Why? Because gradually more and more living entities, they join the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That's why for eternity there are more and more and more to become Brajbasis that are joining the Braj Leelas. It's very interesting. Okay. So when Krishna came into the fold, so as a matter of protocol, there's a group of girls that approached this new girl and they said, welcome. So what question do they ask? What question when a new gopi comes in? Because they're used to see, do you know the
What's your
similar...
name? What's your name? Where you
Yes.
from?
What's your name? Where you're from? What else?
Who brought you here?
Who brought you here? Yes. What else?
What do you want?
What do you want? Yeah, something else?
What services?
Yes, what services? Yeah, what village, what services? So Krishna, he passed all the questions. This time he was prepared.
Yeah.
Remember the pastime, was it the stolen? Yeah, the pastime of the stolen ring. When Krishna, he tried, because after he stole the ring of Srimati Radharani, then Vishaka, she stole his flute and his chadar and his peacock feather, so many things. His favorite black chadar. She wanted to get revenge on Krishna. And she bought all of this, and Krishna, to get back his ornaments, so he dressed as Shyamasaki. But when he arrived, he was just like two old Sakis. He and Madhu Mangal was dressed like old Sakis, and they were lamenting, "Oh, Shyam Sundar, where are you? Where are you? We want to see you." And Radharani and the gopis, they came, they were attracted to that feeling of separation. But when Lalita, she asked Krishna who he was, he did not prepare that this time. And Madhu Mangal, she asked Madhu Mangal, and then Madhu Mangal comes to Krishna and says, "Krishna, she's telling me your name, but we did not get ready. I don't know who you are. What is your name?" And Krishna says, "Tell her my name is Shyamasaki." Shyamasaki. So, yes, when they asked, "What will you do? Why do you come here? What do you want to do here?" So Krishna, as a gopi girl, he said, "I've come to sing for her." So they took her to Radharani, and she was very happy to meet this new girl, and she said, "Okay, so sing." And then Krishna, as a gopi, began to sing. And when Radharani, she heard the singing, her heart melted completely. And she said, "I've never heard any of my Sakis sing so sweetly with so much devotion. You must be a very special girl." So Krishna, as a gopi, said, "Yes, I'm very special. I'm very attached to you." But Lalita, always extremely protective to Radharani, she became a little suspicious. So because she was looking at the dress, and she said, "There's something odd about this dress." Because the cowherd boys, you remember, they didn't know how to dress Krishna as a gopi. So in the end, one of the girls, she came up to Lalita, who was spying already on the cowherds, and she whispered something into her ear. So, and the pupils at that time, when she heard the answer, her eyes opened wide. And then, because the girl said something that she... basically, the spy, she came down and she saw how Krishna was dressed by the cowherd boy. And Lalita, she came up to the gopis and she whispered to them, "We have to speak." Then they made an Ishtagoshti together. And all the girls, the Manjaris, they all met and they had their talk. And then at the conclusion, they all started laughing and giggling like that. So they came to the new gopi, listen to that. They came to the new gopi and they said, "You, as a newcomer, are not allowed to participate in our gathering yet," they said. And so the gopis, they gathered, Lalita, Vishaka, Nulika, and the other gopis, they began to discuss what was happening. And as a result of the gathering, they started to laugh. And then when the new gopi came again, Radharani, she said, "You sing so beautifully. I would like to award you something." And then Krishna thought, "Oh, an award? Maybe she will hug me in gratitude." But it was not that. So the girls, they said, what did the girl give? What reward?
They wanted to give her a new sari or something.
Yes, exactly. They wanted to give her a new sari. So they said, "New girl, you have something wrong with your clothes. So as a reward, we would like to offer you a new set of clothes." So, because they're connoisseur, they know how to dress perfectly. So the girls, especially, she says, "The connoisseur, these girls who know how to dress my manjaris, because you're not so expert at dressing, they want to dress you in new clothes." So Krishna started perspiring. And he said, "Well, actually these are new clothes I have, and they're really nice. Actually like them. They're brand new. I don't need any new clothes." So
Brand new.
he says, I'm very happy with this. You don't need to exert yourselves. Can I sing now?" So then Radharani, she winked at Lalita and Vishaka, and then they just jumped on this new gopi and they started undressing her. They took the sari off quickly, and as they were taking off her choli, everyone heard this pop, pop, boom, boom, and two huge kadamba flowers come out of the choli. Very big ones. So Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, and all the girls, they just started laughing and laughing and laughing. And everyone realized this is not the girl, this is Krishna dressed as a gopi. But Radharani, she was so pleased that Krishna, he made an effort to win her favor, that she became very happy and she welcomed him back, like that. And then Krishna, excuse me for a few moments, then he left, he was tired of that gopi dress. So he went up, he got dressed as Krishna, came back, and then they went on top of that hill, and you can still see that place you can visit today. Vilasgar Hill.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Okay.
You know Vilasgar?
Yeah.
You've been there?
Yeah, next to being a Barsana top hill.
Yes.
Next one.
Exactly, next to Barshana.
The next hill over.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like a old fort there also.
Yeah, there's a big building there.
Yeah. So basically, they went on the top of that hill and they did a swing pastime there. And that's where they had Julan Yatra also. They had a swing festival there. So that's how the pastime. I have so many other pastimes, but now it's already pastime, so we stop here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Jai.
Jai.
Jai Goloka Vrindavan ki.
Jai.
Jai Developing Love for Radha and Krishna ki.
Jai.
Jai The Special Mercy of Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.